This is India in the 90s, where anything can be bought for a few rupees. Three blocks west of this bazaar is where the commodity market and sex trade meet. This is Falkland Road, Bombay's notorious red light district. It is one of the largest sex markets in Asia. In this city alone, an estimated 250,000 girls work. Few come on their own. The majority are tricked, kidnapped, and sold into prostitution. Bombay is a well-known place to find child sex. The young ones are hidden deep inside. Up this wooden staircase, living quarters are small and crowded. A foul smell lingers in the air. This brothel is home for hundreds of girls whose only contact with the outside world are customers. Down the corridor, these men have paid 15 rupees. That's just 50 cents for an encounter which lasts only a few minutes. The young girls are never paid for their work. They must work off their purchase price, the money their madame spent to get them. This may take years, and the only money they may see are tips from satisfied clients. Anita, sold at the age of 10, is a hardened prostitute. After 15 years, she no longer dreams of leaving. Prostitution is all she knows. Like so many of the other children here, her daughter sleeps in the bed next to hers as she services clients. Madames are aware child prostitution is illegal. When they heard a foreign camera was in the neighborhood, they hid these young Nepalese girls in this secret attic. They are this brothel keeper's prize merchandise. Some as young as 9 years old command the highest price, desired by locals and Arabs for their fair skin and virginity. Most of the girls enslaved into prostitution in India come from Nepal. Maya has worked in this brothel for 6 years. Afraid to go back home, Maya fears her family and society will reject her because she is a prostitute. I cannot read or write. I came to Bombay to survive. I'm not happy, but how can I go home now that I'm spoiled? The Kingdom of Nepal is a land of stunning natural beauty. It is officially the only Hindu country in the world. Buddhist traditions remain strong, brought by thousands of years of Tibetan migration. Landlocked between its big neighbors, India and China, Nepal is one of the poorest countries in the world. Agriculture employs over 90% of the people. Yet there is little work and even fewer choices. Girls are expected to contribute to the family income at an early age. The majority are illiterate, and the women of Nepal have little control over their own lives. Tradition always places a lower value on girls than boys. In the remote district of Nuwakot, a full day's walk from the nearest paved road, is one of the main centers for child trafficking. The number of girls missing here is one of the highest rates anywhere in the country. Little is said, but there are no teenage girls seen around this village of Chesapani. They had been lured away by promises of good jobs and the glamour of Bombay. Child traffickers are drawn by the innocence of local villagers and their desperate poverty. This family's daughter disappeared 2 years ago. Rupa Tamang says he doesn't know where his daughter is, but believes she's been taken to Bombay.
How to stop it? What to do? Such a police force, such a big society, and still the girls just vanish. Naturally, I do feel sad. I lost my own daughter. You see, for me, those people who traffic, their lives should be taken.
At an undisclosed jail in Kathmandu, these men are part of a growing trafficking ring that sells young girls to prostitution. 25-year-old Ganesh Rarki is a rickshaw driver. He sold his own wife for 500 rupees, or only $12.
I did not do it directly. I was not alone. I was influenced by other people. I'm not a person from the city. I haven't watched television in my life. How do you say why I sold my wife? Maybe for money?
Both men are now serving 10 to 15 years for their crime. Help for those who escape prostitution is hard to find. The lucky few end up here, at Mighty Nepal. It is one of the few non-governmental organizations that provides a safe haven for child sex workers and destitute young girls who are at high risk for the sex industry. Recently rescued from India, these girls returned to their homeland only to find a country against them and families who won't take them back because they are prostitutes and HIV positive. The Nepali police interrogated the rescued girls with their own camera. For fear of exploitation and unwanted publicity, all other media were banned from photographing the group. The police took the pictures they needed and left as quickly as they came. Their stories are heartbreaking. Srijana was 13 when she was kidnapped from her village in Nepal and taken to India. She spent the next 4 years of her youth servicing 10 clients a day. Her introduction to prostitution was swift and brutal. She was raped by 6 men. They asked me to do the job. I said I wouldn't because we are girls. Once we do this kind of job, we lose our respect. Then they cursed my father and mother, held me down, and did it. Fear tactics were used on 16-year-old Devi. She was never allowed to leave the brothel that became home for the next 4 years. For 3 days, they did not give me anything to eat, threatening me every day. They said they would kill me, put me inside a machine, and they didn't care if they lost the 60 or 70,000 rupees they spent to get me. Anuradha Korala is the center's director. She fights hard to end child trafficking and says the lack of commitment to the girl child is part of the problem.
Prostitution, you do it by will. Trafficking is like, without your will, you are sold away. You're taken to someone else's place and sold like a cow. Even if I have to sell someone's cow, I have to ask. If I want to sell your shoes, I have to ask you once. But here people don't ask. They just cheat you and take you and sell you.
How do you fight back?
Well, now we are doing it. We are trying to get hold of the criminals. we are doing awareness campaignings, we are doing prevention works, we are trying to do. But like only NGOs working in this field will not do, I think. And government has to come, and all for the, I think above all, the attitude of the whole Nepalese have to be changed.
Some days at the shelter are harder than others. On this day, emotions run high.
Why is she crying? She's got no one. Except one brother. She doesn't want to accept her. She's saying we will be like going this big way. So I said I'm there.
Pooja has said little since her return from Bombay. She spends most of her days waiting for a family member to claim her. Illiterate and HIV positive, Pooja is only 13 years old. Mighty Nepal will take care of her and the others, giving them the tools they need to survive. Leela Korala is the Minister of Women and Social Welfare for Nepal. She says her country is limited in what it can do to prevent pimps from luring young girls into prostitution. The people in our country are not conscious. They are not educated. They are not aware that if they sell girls, that it's wrong. As long as a society has no education and there is unemployment and poverty, the problem will not be solved. And as a country searches for solutions, there are days when music and laughter fill the rooms of mighty Nepal. Their adolescent jokes are a sobering reminder how young these children are. Their innocence lost and an uncertain future ahead. They are victims of a cruel destiny. But for the first time in a long time, they are free. Christine Golka reporting.
It's okay, so